It's Friday, September 21st, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, we get cool on the ice with HYCC and meet some very lucky little Head Start turtle hatchlings on Sandy Neck. Here's some news you can use. Beginning Monday, October 1st, the town of Barnstable transfer station will return to accepting only separated recyclables and will no longer be accepting single stream recycling. There will be separate containers for cardboard, paper, glass, plastic, and metal. A 60-day transitional period where people who have not gotten the message about the change and brought single-stream material for disposal will not be turned away, but will be able to deposit the material and be provided information about the new policy. What does cool fall weather mean to the kids in Barnstable? It's back to the skating rink time. Laura Kelleher, program supervisor, has all the cool details on Learn to Skate and Learn to Play Hockey programs and the revival of the ever-popular Rock Night returning to HYCC. We're here at Butler Rink at the HYCC talking to Laura Kelleher, program supervisor. Really cool stuff happening in the month of September and two things coming up. Tell us about, ready?
Ready.
Learn to Skate.
Learn to Skate is starting Saturday, September 29th. Registration's still ongoing. We have classes for toddlers, so that's 3 and 4 years old, unassisted adult help, which is nice for mom and dad. They can sit in stands and watch. And then Saturday, it's a bulk of all of our classes. So it's our specialty advanced classes once you pass out of the basic skills. So we're offering a couple different things this year. We have our moves in the field, and we added a little power skate with that. Following that, there's a freestyle, pre-freestyle, and regular freestyle 1 through 6. And then after that, we have our regular badge levels, so 3 through 6, a little intro to TOI as well, just to kind of give badge levels 3 through 6 a little taste of theater on ice. We're kind of lucky we have a competitive team, the Barnstable Blades. They skate out of here as well, and they're comprised of mostly our Learn to Skate kids, which is kind of cool. And then after that, we have our toddler class, so that's a good 30 minutes of fun time. Help the parents out on the weekends if they can't make the weekday classes. And then we go to badges 1 through 2. And that's really the basic, where you start and we move you if you need to be. And if you don't, it's great. It's a good little hour, 50 minutes for everyone to kind of come, learn how to skate and move along. And then after that, we're gonna cap it off this year with a spin and jump class. Ooh. for the definite freestyle kids that need a little extra, and it'll be fun. They'll do some off-ice stuff, and then they'll do some on-ice. So it'll be good. So I'm excited for that. In the mornings, we also are gonna offer a Learn to Skate hockey program as well. So if your kid is kind of interested but not sure and you don't want to fully commit, it's a great 60-minute program, mostly skills, but a little bit of learning to play at the end. So about 20 minutes of learning to play, station-based learning, a lot of skills, but it'll be fun. So, yeah.
Excellent. So those classes sound really great. You said from toddlers
to like high school, middle school aged kids.
Okay.
We currently don't offer adult classes. My suggestion is to just give me a call and I can set you up with one of our instructors for a private lesson or a semi-private, which has seemed to work out like really well because I was only getting maybe 4 to 5 people, if that. And then scheduling, it was tough, so it might only be like 2 people in a class.
Right.
So.
And it's really fun, especially the toddler classes.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
hysterical. The little ones on ice, and some of them get it, and some of them
don't. You have the snow angel who's like face forward licking the ice or eating their mitten, or they just want to wait for that last little ride around the rink. But yeah, I always say take the video from day 1 and then take the video on the last day. It's 8-week programs, so it's a large chunk of time and you won't even recognize your kid at the end of it. So it's great.
How do parents prepare their kids to take these classes? You know, what are they wearing? What's kind of what mom and dad want to tell these kids before they get here?
We always say helmet 6 and under. After that, it's really mom and dad's decision on the helmet. For the hockey portion, it's a full gear program, just because we do put pucks down and they do play. But if it's just regular Learn to Skate, bike helmets are fine. I mean, we're standing in here. It's not warm. It's kind of the tundra. Layer, because you can always take off the layer. Okay. Mittens. You do spend a lot of time on the ice at some point, so snow pants are always good. I mean, we all wear snow pants in here because it's cold.
It's cold. And how about socks?
I skate the dark side, so I don't wear socks. So I'm really not the one to ask. But I will say, we do offer some kids that don't like the skate. I get it. They're tight. They don't feel right. It's a tactile thing. Try a nylon, just a little knee-high first. If they're still, just stick them in socks. And if not, go to the dark side. I'm telling you, it's a lot easier.
And do they need skates or can they rent skates?
You can always rent skates, but it is $5 every time you rent. So you might be able to find a fairly decent recreational skate for 40 bucks that, you know, will last you a little bit better than a rental. I mean, we're very lucky and we did just get all new rentals. So the LaRusso Foundation really helped us out and we've been able to replace every single one of our rental skates.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so they're starting off, if they want to rent, they're starting off in basically brand new skates. But I always say if you're going to come public skating, and it just adds up. So if you can find a great recreational skate for less than 70 bucks, I say do it. Always ask too. I get a lot of people that will donate their skates and they're only used for a season or two. So it's always good to ask because I might have something. And I just kind of use it like when you're done, bring them back or vice versa. So I've been able to really give back to the kids that need it and because they can't find them or they didn't get them in time. So it's been good. And everyone's been awesome about bringing them in and donating. So lucky, very lucky.
And hockey gear, these kids should come prepared if they're learning to play hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I try to put it in the brochure to make sure, you know, it's a full gear program. Butlers is great. I'm pretty sure they offer you a little learn to skate package for the gear and stuff like that. Skates, no question. You should have your own skates and helmets, your own helmets with the cages. I mean, pucks are coming down. You've got cute little faces. You don't want to lose your teeth that way. But,
right, exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean, Butlers is great. We're really lucky that we have local businesses that do kind of help you out and say, we get it. You don't want to spend $1,000 for someone to say in week 2, I'm all set. I don't want to go out. This is not for me. I've cried at the door every day. Like, take me home. So it's good. It's good that way. I mean, we're also lucky too. Barnstable Youth Hockey helps us out. There's always their donation bins too. And it's brand new gear 90% of the time. And it's just either they grew out or it was that situation that I cried at the door the whole time and I'm not going out. So I'm very lucky and I'm very thankful for the people that build the village. So
fantastic. And the ice isn't just to learn to skate or to play hockey. The ice is like for fun, cool stuff. So what do you got for those 6th and 7th graders?
So we have decided to bring back Rock Night. And we had Rock Night here pretty much every Friday for years. And then I think it kind of
went by the wayside.
It went by the wayside, and I think kids were just like, nah, I don't want to go anymore. I went last week, or I've gone for the last 3 weeks. So we're bringing back Rock Night once a month. Some months we won't have it because we'll have a special event or we have something else planned. But this month, it's the Friday before Learn to Skate starts, so it's the 28th. It's from 7 to 8:30. Admission is $5, rentals are $5. We'll have our in-house DJ Riley playing, and we'll have prizes for ice contests and stuff like that. So it's a little like nice hour and a half for mom and dad to just drop off and.
Sure, and it's a great time for the kids too. I mean, you know, a little bit of music.
It's structured, it's good, it's safe. It's not the mall. It's not Fortniting. It's you know.
Yeah, we want to emphasize that any programs that you take here at the Hyannis Youth Community Center are supervised.
Exactly. There's staff. Even if you don't think they're staff, and they're watching and they're just making sure everybody is safe and everyone's having a good time.
Right. How do kids gain admission to this event?
So you'll come in through the front door, down the middle staircase, and the rental room is right there. There'll be plenty of staff there to help with rental sizes, tying skates or whatever. And yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. So it'll be good to see.
You know, we're a hockey town.
We are. Although sometimes I get nervous because we hit those highs and lows.
Right.
So, but yeah, we're lucky.
But the ice is cold.
It is.
You know, we're heading into the fall and into the winter hockey season as well as the skating season.
Yes. So I'm excited. I mean, we're lucky that we can offer it year-round at a limited kind of schedule for the summer, and then full schedule for fall, winter, and spring. We're very lucky, but we do realize too that we might oversaturate it, and you know, i.e. rock night.
Where can parents find information about your programs?
So about the programs, the brochure is out. It's online. Either website you go to, Recreation or HYCC, click on the icon for registration. The brochure, there's a button right there for it. You can definitely come in, register in person. Anybody within the facility should be able to at least point you in the direction of a brochure.
Okay.
So it's all there. Online too, I mean, it's amazing. Online registration is amazing, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else you want folks to know?
I think we're open, we're ready for business, and it is becoming fall, so, you know, pick your apples, come on in. And
Yeah, that's right. Get your mittens on and get your skates and
exactly.
come cruise the ice.
So much fun.
Excellent. Thanks so much,
You're
Laura.
so welcome.
Natural Resource Officer Sean Cordes took Channel 18 out to the dunes of the Sandy Neck ORV Trail to find the diamondback terrapin turtle hatchlings that just made their way into this world. Watch as Sean explains the dangers of leaving these wee ones out to fend for themselves and why the Head Start program is so important to the species. It's back to school for the diamondback terrapins. The Head Start program is in full swing out here in Sandy Neck. With me today, Natural Resource Officer Sean Cordes. Sean, we've got some babies.
We do, yeah. Yep, so this is always one of my favorite times of the year. It's in that stage of the program where a lot of these nests that were laid in June and July are finally starting to hatch out. So we're starting to see the small diamondback terrapin hatchlings in the wild make their way out to the marsh. And then we're also getting our first hatchlings for the Head Start program that we do here in the town of Barnstable. So we're out monitoring some of those nests today and getting them ready for the school year.
Right, so let's talk a little bit about this Head Start program and why it's necessary for these little turtles to really survive in the wild now.
Yeah, so the diamondback terrapin is a protected species in here in Massachusetts. It's listed as threatened. A couple of reasons for that. Historically, the diamondback terrapin was actually hunted for food for a period of time. Turtle soup was a delicacy back in the 19th century, early 20th century, and then habitat loss certainly had an impact on their populations as well. Salt marshes, like a lot of wetlands, have been destroyed and filled in over the years. So we have these few remaining populations here on Cape Cod, the one in the town of Barnstable being out here in the Barnstable Great Marsh, and they nest right here at Sandy Neck Beach. So because their populations are historically lower than they likely have been, it's that much harder for for them to be able to continue this process year after year. Terrapins generally survive by laying a lot of eggs, and a small fraction of those eggs will naturally make it to adulthood, but the percentage is only about 1 in every 100 eggs. We've faced a lot of issues here with predation on both nests and hatchlings, so this Head Start program is a good way to be able to combat some of that and get some of these turtles sort of bigger and stronger than they would be in the wild before we release them back out, which should, bring that chance of survival up quite a bit.
Right, so they don't follow rules of the road or anything, so a lot of these are like literally in the middle of the trail where they'll lay their eggs. What happens when that is like, vehicles are passing through this all the time?
Yeah, exactly. So the trails that these diamondback terrapins cross when they go from the marsh into the sand dunes where they nest is also made out of sand. So generally it's a hiking trail for most. There's only a few vehicles that can access these trails because there are small camps and cottages out here. But to a terrapin, that trail is no different than the sand dunes beyond it, and so it looks like a good nesting spot for them. So these nests that are laid in the trail would otherwise be run over if we weren't out monitoring them. What we're able to do is actually find those nests and carefully extract them and relocate them to a new, safer site. And we monitor those out, throughout the season until this time of year when they hatch out. And those are the turtles that we use for this Head Start program. And they will be, raised by schools and some other organizations throughout the season, so that we can release them out next season.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the Head Start program itself. So these turtles don't remain with you at the gatehouse. They go to schools and senior centers. And so tell us how that works.
Yeah, so once these nests have started hatching out, which we're seeing this week, we've had our first hatchlings sort of make it to that stage. We take care of them here at Sandy Neck until they get to the point where their yolk sac dries up. That's on the plastron, or that sort of underside of their shell. And that actually provides them with enough energy and nutrients to, in the wild, be able to make it out to the marsh or to make it to a nice spot in the sand dunes to be able to burrow down and sort of go into a type of hibernation, throughout the winter. So these particular turtles for our Head Start program aren't doing that. They're not going out to the marsh this winter, but we still have to wait for those yolk sacs to dry up before they can start eating on their own. So once that happens, they get transferred over to our main headquarters at MEA, and they're in small tanks there until the point where they're able to feed on their own. And from that point, we're able to distribute them out to schools, to libraries, all of these great programs that are part of the overall Head Start program. And they stay in those tanks throughout the winter time. And instead of in the wilds, they'd be hibernating, not doing much, not growing. They're in these tanks in warm water, they're eating lots of food every day, and they're growing big and strong. And generally, throughout that 6 to 8 months, they're gonna grow to be about the size of a 3-year-old turtle. So their shell's nice and strong and solid, and they're released right back out into the marsh. So a lot of those predators that would normally go after them when they're, just a tiny little hatchling aren't gonna have that opportunity. So it's been a really good system. We've seen it, it's been pretty successful thus far. So we're excited for another year of it.
So tell me a little bit about what kids are learning when you put a turtle in a classroom, or even libraries or a senior center. What do people learn from this opportunity?
Yeah, well, it's a great program. They learn everything from just the anatomy of that animal, of a little turtle, to the ecology of the whole system here at Sandy Neck. So they're learning all about the resources here in the Great Marsh and the Barrier Beach, and they're also learning about what we can do to protect species in the world and here in our own backyard. So they are working with an endangered species and understanding that it's a fun process to be able to be a part of this program and watch them grow, but it's also really important for conservation efforts. They are having a direct impact on restoring a population right here on Cape Cod. So this is one of those nests that's part of our Head Start program. As you can see, that's a bucketed nest, one that we relocated right from the marsh trail just off to our left-hand side here. And what I'll be doing now is pulling this cap off the top and checking to see where we're at with the hatching process. So we have a couple of hatchlings right here on the top, which is a good sign. So we'll be pulling this nest and bringing it back to the garage here at Sandy Neck to evaluate the rest of the hatching. But both of these individuals look nice and healthy. They're a good size, and if you look at the bottom, they still have a little bit of that yolk sac, but it is starting to dry up pretty nicely. So we'll probably have them for a couple of days before they go back to the office and start swimming around and hopefully feeding pretty soon here as well. So we can check real quick and just see where we're at with the rest of these eggs in here. So we have a few more in here as well. And it's interesting, you always have to be very careful at this point. Not only are the eggs delicate, but you'd be surprised at how soft the shells are on these hatchlings when they first come out. Even though they look, sort of just like a miniature version of some of the adults, they're still quite fragile at this point in time, which is why at this size, predators can be such an issue. There's, everything from birds to raccoons, and fox can sort of eat them whole. We'll take the whole nest back with us.
Oh, because now they're hatching out, so they've started the process.
So we'll put them on a heat lamp as the rest of them continue to incubate.
One.
But yeah, we gotta, it looks like most of them have already hatched. Sometimes it takes a while for them to either emerge out, and oftentimes too, one of the other things that they can do in the wild is when they hatch out, they actually stay right there in the nest bowl and just wait until the spring to emerge and go out to the marsh.
Wow.
And again, that's an adaptation to help combat the fact that there's so many predators. So if every single nest hatched out and went straight for the marsh, their chances of even just a couple predators taking most of them out is high. So.
My goodness. Are they
Yep, there's
alive?
at least 2. Yep, they're alive. So I think they're enjoying it.
God.
But yep, they are ready to go. There's another one down below that.
Wow.
There's 5. You can see there's, an egg in here too that's still unhatched. A couple of them.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'll see if I can show you guys that real quick. Yeah, there's one in here that's ready to hatch.
Is it like cracked?
Yep. Yeah, so the turtle's in there. It's started to crack out of its shell, and pretty soon it should be probably on its way out. So it's hard. It might be hard to see on the cameras, but I can show you on these animals. On the very tip of their nose, when they're first born, you can see that little point.
Yeah.
That sharp point. So that's an egg tooth. A lot of reptiles have this. A lot of birds have this, and that's there to help them actually crack through that shell of their egg to start out with and emerge. So you also see that out here on like the piping plovers and the least terns. They'll have those, and it'll go away after a period of time. So these same turtles, if they're the ones that, for example, stayed underground in the dunes over winter and they came out, that would be gone by the springtime. So you can tell that they had hatched out in the fall and were just emerging.
Oh, no kidding. So cool.
Yeah. One of the things we have to be careful with when we do catch them at this point is there's potential that they could, if they don't hatch out of the egg fast enough, they can actually dry to that egg and get stuck, and it can pull the yolk sac out.
Off, yeah.
Which does happen in the wilds, but yeah we definitely are mindful of that and careful to make sure that they get ample opportunity to not do that.
Here's a look at our community calendar. The Wings of Freedom Tour is returning to Cape Cod next week, bringing World War II Aerofighter planes and bombers to Barnstable Municipal Airport in Hyannis. Katie Service, Barnstable Municipal Airport Manager, took to the sky to highlight the event, and more information on the tour is available online at collinsfoundation.org.
So the Wings of Freedom is the Collins Foundation, and it's a chance to see living history. It is a number of World War II aircraft that have been restored and are in flying condition to bring World War II history to you right here in Barnstable. So we'll have B-17s, a B-24, a Mustang, B-25 Mitchell, which was part of the Doolittle raid on Japan back in World War II. So you don't get this opportunity, very often, and they do include Barnstable Airport in their tour on an annual basis, which we are so fortunate that they do. But we really want you to come out, take in a piece of history at the airport and learn about your aviation roots. So everything is occurring off of the East Ramp, which is located off of Mary Dunn Way. Price for admittance is through the Collins Foundation. It's how they pay for restoration of their aircraft. It's $12 for adults, $5 for kids 12 and under. We have parking over at that facility. Just follow the signs. The aircraft that will be here, they're identified as static displays. They have crew members from the Collins Foundation that will be here on hand to answer any questions, and also to allow anybody that visits a chance to climb up inside the aircraft and get close and personal. It's very appropriate for children, and the hours of operation: on Monday when they first arrive, they'll be here at noontime, noon to 5. On Tuesday, it's an all-day affair, 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then they leave on Wednesday. They'll be here from 9 o'clock in the morning till 12. I would, suggest that if you have a moment to come by in the afternoon on either Monday or Tuesday, after school event for the kids, it's a great opportunity for them to see a piece of history. So there are various dollar amounts to get a flight in one of these aircraft. They are offering those flights. You can go to the Collins Foundation's website. It's www.cfdn.org. That website will lead you to the pricing for whether you want to be in the Mustang or if you want to actually be in the Liberator. It will give you the price sheet for that as well. You know, the biggest thing that we're trying to do is to really educate people about aviation. When I was back in school, when I got my pilot's license, the movie Top Gun had just come out, and that really spurred interest with a lot of youth to get into aviation, to get your pilot's license, and we've lost a little bit of that. You know, there needs to be an element of aviation education coming back to our community and coming back to our youth so that we can spur that interest in them. This is what it's all about. Get these kids and young adults here at the airport, take a look at these aircraft, talk to pilots who actually fly these aircraft, and get some interest in aviation and learn a little bit more.
They're graceful. They're powerful. They're fast. The National Wings of Freedom Tour is coming in honor of our World War II veterans. The ultimate living history experience. Explore these majestic, fully restored World War II bombers inside and out. Take an unforgettable flight in the B-17 Flying Fortress, B-24 Liberator. Even get a little stick time in the world's greatest fighter, the P-51 Mustang. For more information, visit collinsfoundation.org.
Comments, suggestions, accolades? Connect with us on Facebook or Instagram. Email us or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works. For you. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.